Hi, this is Jim Sackman, your Focal Point Business Coach, and we're continuing our series of the Way to Wealth Formula videos. This time we're going to talk about annual planning. And annual planning is all about building a plan for a company for a fiscal year. So, how do you create and execute a plan? Well, the thing you should do if you've got an existing company is start with last year's financials, because the core of any annual plan is going to be the financial part of its plan. And if you're looking at 2016, then you should use what you've got for 2015 already, plus your estimates for the rest of the year, because that'll give you a good place to start. Now, you're going to estimate some cost increases. Now, I'm not talking about revenue increases yet, but we'll put those in too. But you've got to do sort of a linear extrapolation of what's going to happen. What I mean by that is, you know that insurance is likely to go up. You know that other costs are likely to go up: rent, power, raises, insurance, all that stuff goes up. So you've got to estimate that and build it into your cost model. Potentially, you might, if you sell products and your material costs might go up, so your cost of goods sold might go up, and you've got to account for that as well. And also, look at what you expect to do in revenue in the next year based on initiatives you already have in place. In other words, looking forward, you want to build a view of 2016 that's based on an extrapolation of what you've done in 2015. And then you add in initiatives. And what initiatives are is, it's unlikely that you're going to be super happy with cost increases as they change the profit of your business. So you're going to have to change some things in your business, and most businesses have to do that every year, some number of changes within the business, and we're going to measure them and their effectiveness. So this is going to be 1, 2, 3 things, maybe 5 things in a very large business that you're going to do differently than you do today. Whether that's a new marketing initiative, whether it's cost cutting, whether it's some new business processes, whatever it is, you're going to make changes, and then we're going to measure them. And how are we going to deal with that? We're going to create a thing called a dashboard. Now, this is a very fancy one. They don't have to be that fancy. You can do them just Excel spreadsheets with numbers. But it's going to be both key results indicators and key performance indicators. Now, key results indicators are backward-looking metrics. In other words, things like revenue of the last quarter is a backwards-looking metric. It's how did you perform? Key performance indicators are things that are forward-looking indicators. Typical examples might be the number of new leads, the amount of new closed business. Sometimes it's about uptake of new products or services. Whatever you can find in your business that shows how business in the future is likely to be created. Those are key performance indicators, and you're going to build many of these, both key results indicators and key performance indicators, around these initiatives that you've created, plus traditional metrics like revenue, profit, and spending. Now, you really want to track important metrics only at this top level. Now, departments and things like that in larger companies, of course, will have their own dashboards, their own set of metrics that they're tracking. But at an executive level, if you're tracking more than 10 things, you're probably way too much. And 10 is a lot, and probably only at the largest companies. I've seen dashboards where they try to track 50 metrics, and it's a mess. You never figure out what's important about what's changing. See, the important thing here is you have to realize that only some things are going to be super important for you to keep an eye on. And those are what you're going to be tracking here, because this is an executive thing. It's a short form view of the business. Now, a couple things, if you do look at the picture, you'll see that there's green, yellow, and red levels of metrics. And that generally indicates quality or performance of the company as it relates to doing well, doing badly, and doing okay. And of course, if something's in the red, you've got to have to take immediate action. Yellow is something you got to keep your eye on, and green is good, right? So that's the kind of way you treat a dashboard. So you need metrics not only for good performance, but unacceptable performance, because you're going to need to make changes to the way you run the execution of the business if you run into poor performance. And finally, you're going to measure these things either monthly or quarterly. Most large businesses do it quarterly. If you're a small business and you've only got a handful of metrics, maybe you deal with it monthly. So that's something you can think about depending on your business. And you should formally track them and publish them to yourselves. I mean, it's not something, this is the way to make the numbers work in your business, to use them proactively to measure how effective you're being, how, are the things you're doing working. So that's all about annual planning. This is Jim Sackman. Change your business, change your life, and have a great day.